Hey everyone, welcome back to the Modeling and Wellbeing podcast, where you can learn the ins and outs of modeling. And not only that, but you can gain some tips to better care for your holistic well being. This is your girl Larissa, and this space is designed for us to learn, grow, and empower one another. Speaking of empowering, community and social connection. Man, it can have a great impact on how we uplift one another. So, I am personally looking forward to this conversation and sharing the power of community and why we simply just need each other. This topic, honestly, it's been heavy on my heart lately. And as I mature, I realize how much social connection has just become a value of mine more than ever before. I've also noticed within my own life and in other people's lives around me how connection can truly be life changing. So let's get into it. We are alive, we are breathing, and we are here today. What a blessing. You also seen this coming, but it's election day too. And I'm sure lots of you are planning to go vote, including myself. Quick story. A few weeks ago, I learned that I actually had to register to vote in the state of Georgia via mail, the old fashioned way, because I didn't have a Georgia state ID and still have my Minnesota one. I couldn't do it online. So I wasn't aware of that. And I'm actually happy that I looked ahead because it took a couple of weeks to process. Now, we know that election campaigns and voting, even understanding what's impacting our neighborhoods, are both heavily influenced by who is in our communities. When we talk about wellness, I say the word holistic for a very specific reason because one area of wellness always impacts the other. And I believe that social wellness, connection, or community is one of the most underestimated forms of wellness. You know, when people think of wellness, they say, hey, if I work out, that's all I need to feel good for my well being. If I eat or get more sleep, that will make me feel good only, nothing else. And yes, for sure, developing healthy habits in those areas will certainly make you feel good inside and out and are very important. And I'm going to walk you through why social connection is just as beneficial or even more. According to the Better Health Channel, there are three kinds of connections we can have with others. There are intimate connections with people who love and care for you, like your family, your friends, your spouse, and partners. Relational connections with people who you see on a regular basis or people that you share an interest with, like coworkers, or if you're going to the coffee shop and you're running into those people all the time who serve you, those people would fall into relational connections as well. Lastly, collective connections. Basically, people who share a group membership or some sort of affiliation with you, like church or people who vote like you do. As we move forward in this episode today, I want you to just mentally think about who is already serving you in these areas and what you desire more, what might be missing for you in or across these three kinds of connections. You know, it goes without saying that our world is made up of people, right? People who advance our technology, who created our curriculum for education, who fought for our rights so that we and generations in the future can live a better life than they did. We need each other. We thrive off of each other more than we even know. And I really want to emphasize this. I want to highlight a few themes of community to dig a bit deeper on why we need each other. And because this is a safe space, I want to share a few personal examples to bring to light of the concept of community and empowerment as well. When I was starting to think about social connection for this, my brain tends to do this thing where it just organizes things in these themes. And so I thought about a few themes that I felt would encompass what I'm trying to get across and to really emphasize the importance of why we need each other. The first theme that I thought of was community of healing. And again, because this is a safe space of vulnerability and empowerment, I'm hoping that I can be very open with y'all through a couple personal examples. When I was going through my breakup from a relationship that I was nearly in for 8 years, I'll be honest, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to experience emotionally. And although time has passed, I've healed, and I grew from it, it really was a turning point in my life that got me where I am today. And for that, I'm so grateful for that experience. But just like you or anyone that have dealt with any kind of form of grief or loss or change, most of what we feel are pretty similar. I was depressed. I practically laid in bed in between my work meetings as I was working from home. I didn't leave the house for 2 weeks. And I was pretty much struggling to basically refine who I was at the time. But I wanted to make sure that, because I'm such a wellness geek here, I wanted to give myself that space to feel, to heal, and to reflect. But do you know what kept me afloat? My tribe, my family, and my friends. I know that my best friend, Capricia, she probably lost count on how many times we had the same conversations over and over and over again, how many visits we had, how many times we shared in those moments. But guess what? She was there. My family and my other friends, they were there when I needed to be uplifted through a tough moment. That eventually passed with time and healing, but they made that moment in time that much better because they were there to help support me to get through it. And honestly, I don't know if I could have done it without them. Another example comes to mind is my sister, my big sister. She was diagnosed with lupus and shortly after kidney failure in her very early 20s. And God did bless her with a kidney transplant actually this year in spring, so about 6 years later. But man, I can vouch on her behalf that this journey was anything but smooth for her. From her seizures to the body changes of losing weight and gaining weight, having to do dialysis, and not being able to participate in the activities that 20-year-olds would normally do. That was tough. Let's not forget about the mental health struggles. And it was hard for me to look, outside looking in, and I would still never fully understand how she feels, going through all that and the trauma that she's developed from that experience today. However, she had a tribe that helped her through it, her longtime partner, some family, her doctors that gave her hope and support, and even church communities that was praying over our families and praying for her healing and believe that one day she will be okay. And look where she's at today. She's overcome so much with the help, especially of her tribe. The community of healing. Man, when we have people rooting for us, for our mental health, our physical health, it gives us hope that we'll pull through and we'll be okay no matter what. Most importantly, these people remind us that we are not alone and we don't have to fight alone either. I also think about the community of abundance. Oh, I just love abundance. I get the tingles when I say the word like abundance. It's like the feeling you get when you're a child on Christmas and you have butterflies as you're opening up the most exciting gift. Abundance reminds me actually of A recent conversation that I had with a colleague of mine, and it was the most beautiful conversation. I'm so proud of her. She decided to leave the company and accepted a position that will fulfill her goals and align with her values and her dreams, also giving her more flexibility to focus on her side business. As we were talking, we actually discovered that we have so much more in common than what we knew. And we were bouncing so many ideas off of one another about wellness and wellness coaching. She was also into modeling at some point, like, wow, we practically want the same things and have very similar business goals and ways we want to serve others. Abundance means plenty. When we are able to connect with others on a deeper level, like I'm saying, really take the time to get to know about one another that we're intrigued about or hear another perspective. It's almost like this switch where we start to realize that there's plenty of ways people can grow, plenty of seats for us to all thrive in similar or even different ways, plenty of money for us to experience financial health and wealth. I'm sure a lot of you had similar conversations that I did with my colleague, and it doesn't it just fire you up? It's so enlightening, inspiring to hear about other people's successes and pushes you, at least for me, it pushes me to think of my own successes and evaluate my own life. It's amazing when you think that you can change someone's life through the information you share, and your life can change with the information you receive. Honestly, most times we don't feel this way though. Most times we feel like we're struggling so much where we can't even see what abundance look like. It doesn't feel possible. When we hear about other people's successes, sometimes we insecure that we're not growing and that we're not doing enough. I want to validate those feelings because I've been there. We all have. And the thing that keeps me grounded is just knowing that there's only one of me in this whole entire world. There is literally only one of you in the whole entire world. Do you know how magnificent that is? No one thinks like you. No one processes information like you. So the world is yours, and you can have the power to design a life that makes you happy. You just have to believe it. And if those feelings are coming up of insecurity, it's telling you something. It's sending, your body is sending you a message. And it's a good opportunity for you to evaluate even the community that may no longer be serving you. And that reminds me of why I even moved from Minnesota to Atlanta. In general, in Minnesota, I was just outgrowing the space, but I actually just eventually became disconnected from the community because I started to feel for a very long time it was hard for me to get ahead because it always just felt like people were a little quiet, or, I'll be real. I always tell people, I feel like people were stingy about sharing resources, connections, photographers, etc. And it felt really siloed for me. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? It works for tons of people. But I just knew that I needed to be submerged in a stronger community that is going to help me reach the next destination that God has for me. And that's the main reason, or one of the reasons, why I decided to relocate to Atlanta, to surround myself in a city with more opportunities, more abundant thinkers, a bigger pool of resources to help me grow even deeper as a businesswoman, as a woman of God, as an entrepreneur, and even in the space of modeling and acting. And I gotta say, since I moved, it's surpassed my expectations. It's been empowering. I've never been around so many people that are literally willing, able, and excited to tell you the game step by step, website by website. I had this actor send me a note of, man, like this super, super long list of different casting agents and networks and everything that I can apply to. And it's quite amazing to be around this and challenged me to even continue to give back in the same way, which is why the podcast is here. The podcast exists. I'm hoping to reach more people because I've always been the type and so excited to share what I know because I believe that we all can prosper. The last theme that I think about is the community of love. I get all gushy with love too, y'all. I love love. I love when people are investing into their self love. I love healthy relationships. I love seeing people in love. I love married couples. I love when people share love to others. And I'm starting to notice that at the end of the day, as I get older and wiser, we all want the same thing. We all want love and belongingness. We all want love through friends, spouses, partners, love from teachers, mentors, and parents. I remember growing up watching Powerpuff Girls. Shout out to my 90s babies. And they had this song on one of their episodes. I'm going to assume it was called Love Makes the World Go Round. And it went something like this. This is so embarrassing. It was like, love, 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 love makes the world go round. And when you start to think about it, love does really make the world go round. Love is healing. When I think about the community of love, I also think about the holidays coming up, how much we are just so grateful to spend time with people we want to connect with, how happy we are just excited to disconnect from social media or even engage in social media to see how each other's Thanksgiving plates are looking like. And although the holidays are very exciting for most people, and we assume that, right, they're pictured with people spending time with their families, that's not the reality for a lot of other people. And there are people that don't have healthy or meaningful relationships with family, or maybe family and loved ones have passed, or individuals that don't have housing feel alone and don't have anyone at all to share the holidays with. For all of us who's taking in a lot of this love from our families and friends around the holidays, it really can give us an opportunity to share that love, to support those people. It could be sharing notes and cards, handing out food, or serving at a food shelter or homeless shelter, so that they can feel extra love too. Loneliness and isolation is real. I was doing some research and found two very impactful statistics. First, I found that according to the CDC, poor social relationships characterized by social isolation or loneliness was associated with a 29% increased risk of heart disease. And in 2020, there was a study done in Canada by a team who did an analysis of over 20,000 adults from 45 to 85 years old from the baseline Canadian longitudinal study on aging comprehensive. And they were studying the cohort between the years 2012 to 2015, basically trying to understand the link between obesity and loneliness. One of their findings was that women who had limited social participation or didn't engage in one or at least one social activity a month, they had larger waist circumference and higher odds of both abdominal and general obesity. So I will go back to what I said at the very, very beginning. Social connection matters. It impacts our well being more than we know, physically, mentally, emotionally. And when we invest into our relationships or engage in community events, etc., it can improve all of those areas. If you don't have a community that you feel you can connect with, either on a personal level, at home, or professionally, I've been there with you. A lot of other people have, and you are not alone. And so I challenge you to search for online or in person network events about a topic that you enjoy. Join a Facebook community group, volunteer, or do something else that aligns with your goals. Make sure you're having fun too. It could even be going on a solo trip to attend some sort of event or concert to a familiar state you already love. If you have one friend, trust me, that is more than enough. Invest into them. Think quality over quantity. Try to be aware of the communities that no longer serve you, because let's be real, not everyone is our vibe. And surrounding ourselves with those kinds of people that don't match our energy can actually be more draining and hurtful, even family. It's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay to set boundaries to keep your inner peace, to keep your energy, to protect your energy. And with a little effort, gradually, you will build a group of people in your life who care about you, who want the best for you, and who you also care about. We all know that building friendships is similar to dating. You got to put yourself out there, set your intentions into the universe. And trust me, the right people will start to gravitate towards your world at the right time. Now, if you do have a community or connections you can relate to, I'm happy for you. That's awesome. And I have homework for you too. Challenge yourself to reach out to a few folks in your circle and express your gratitude to them. Then ask if there are ways that you can better pour into them and share ways that they can pour into you better, because these relationships are the most impactful when it feels like a two-way street. I know a lot of what we talked about today feels and seems self explanatory, right? But as with most things, there's a difference between knowing something and actually applying it so that you can truly notice a shift in your energy, in your personal growth. And that is what I want for you in the ways that feel authentic to you. I do hope, though, that this topic was a little helpful for you to just maybe be affirmed in what you already know or add some perspective to how you view the world, how you view connection and community. And just remember, if you take anything from this podcast, please take this, that we're not alone, that you're not alone, and you need people more than you know or realize. You don't have to do it alone. Well, thank you so much for listening today. I am truly grateful for your ears and your open heart and mind. By the way, I do base each episode topic on the feedback that I receive from all of you, whether that's in person and paying attention to common themes and struggles that you're expressing, or direct comments and feedback that I receive on Instagram. So thank you for just guiding me in these topics and just sharing the things that are most meaningful to you, that will help you grow and meet your values, meet your goals, meet your aspirations. At the end of each episode, we recite affirmations together. Affirmations are designed to help you become aware of your personal strengths and values. When you are able to note your strengths, it can be a game changer for improving your self awareness and building confidence. Repeat after me. I give myself love, grace, and kindness. I am learning and growing each day. I am beautiful inside and out. That is all I have for you all today. Thank you for your continuous support. I'll be dropping an episode once a week, so don't forget to follow this podcast to stay alert on those new episodes. And hit me up. Follow me on Instagram at Rissa Snugs, RISASNUGGS, for additional fun content. Thank you for your time. Love you all. XOXO and see